So we love talking about holding people accountable for what they have done, even if these things were in the past. But for some reason, when it comes to the situation of BLM or the BLM scammers, as I call them, accurately call them, for some reason, it's like we just let that go by the wayside, which allows them to continue to show their head every now and then and just start a new grift. For example, with the Daniel Penny case, right? All of a sudden, there's a non-guilty verdict, as there should have been, because this man was protecting his fellow citizens in that subway that afternoon or that evening or whatever time of day it was. And of course, the BLM scammers pull up and they're ready to do their regular grift, ready to finesse some money out of some white gilts. So that being said, I want to get into this video from about 2 years ago where this brother breaks down how BLM exploits black folk. And the reason I bring this subject up is not because I'm a shill for the white man. If that's what you think I am, then, so be it. I don't know where the white man is. I'm still waiting for him to show up. But nevertheless, this shows how it is actually detrimental, more so for black folk or for those who these type of people are claiming to be helping than it is for anybody else. It is detrimental. It's like defund the police. It hurts the people in the most impoverished areas. That's who is disproportionately affected by a lack of police regulation or police forces. That's who gets it. It's the one who is around the jackers, the dope boys, and the shooters. That's the individuals affected. So that being said, we will continue to expose BLM until they no longer exist on the surface of this earth, period. As an organization, I'm not calling for no damn arms and nothing like that, all right? All I'm saying is accountability should be 360. Everybody should get it. Everybody's trying to hold everybody else accountable, then these folks need to be held accountable. And first image we have over here is them over here at a little brunch situation, mimosas and shit, wines, unbelievable. That's y'all money. Y'all bought them little pins. My big brother bought one of them pins. I said, damn, bro, that's at least $10 right there. That probably bought some type of charcuterie or something like that. Let's get into it.
This matter under more scrutiny over how it's spending donors' money, as a new report claims Black Lives Matter leaders used $6 million in donations to buy a massive, beautiful California mansion. Fox News contributor and
$6 million mansion in Cali is a hut. That's what they bought. They bought them a little station wagon without the wheels. California has gotten out of damn control. I lived in California still live technically at this very moment in California. I'm making my way out, but yeah.
Civil rights attorney Leo Terrell joins us right now from Los Angeles. Leo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but I'm scratching my head. After the summer of 2020, we'd heard that Black Lives Matter took in, I think, $90 million, and we wondered what they were going to spend the money on. Now we know they spent $6 million on a mansion for themselves.
Yes, Steve, living like the rich and famous. Steve, I'll be very honest with you. $90 million. They basically use black Americans for profit. Steve, ever since the George Floyd death, Black Lives Matter has profited from the George Floyd death. What have they done for the black community? Where are the community centers?
They have, they have weaponized racism. They have emotionalized, they have disempowered, they have perpetuated the very same thing that's holding black folks back today. They, and of course, they have bought a $6 million mansion in California. Look at them toasting over there. Who took these pictures? Who had the audacity? Hey, folks, here's your 90 million. Cheers. It's called a finesse. That's what we used to call that. We just used to call this straight up what it is. It's not a fundraiser. It's not a movement. It's a finesse. It's a scam.
Where is the improvement in education? They use this money for personal gain, and you look at that house. That house does not help black Americans. It is basically blood money.
It technically does. It helps those black Americans. It helps those black Americans to finesse your ass. And also, white guilt. definitely funded this cause for sure.
Money, Steve, and it's sickening and it's embarrassing. Black people were exploited. Black Americans were exploited by Black Lives Matter for the personal gain of a few.
Well, take us back, Leo. How did they wind up getting these millions and millions of dollars? I know big corporations gave millions of dollars. Why?
Oh, why? It is the classic shakedown. Steve, everyone remembers the George Floyd death, a horrific murder.
Yep.
Let's be very clear. Black Lives Matter exploited that. Black Lives Matter, the NBA, all these major corporations, they wanted to be on the so-called right side of justice. They were on the wrong side, because what have Black Lives Matter, what have these social groups done other than exploit, shook down corporations for personal gain, Steve? The black community has not benefited from the $90 million. There's a state investigation into Black Lives Matter in California. That beautiful home does not benefit Black Americans. It doesn't benefit Americans at all.
Right. Well, I understand there's a federal investigation.
No, it does. If the real estate agent is American, it benefits them. The builder's American, it benefits them. So, hey, at least somebody got something out of it, right? Whoever's selling that charcuterie and that champagne and the mimosas or whatever else they're sipping on over there. They got a bevy of drinks celebrating their finesse. But, yeah, it's a very interesting case, folks, because this is 2 years ago. This video was filmed. So the BLM started really popping off 2018-19, I believe. Because I remember, obviously, there was a lot of masks involved in the protesting. So 2020, 2021, etc. This is 2 years ago. And right now it's 2024. And he was saying this then. Look at it today as if it has not changed. As if the grift has not continued to perpetuate, as if people aren't still giving millions of dollars to these phony, quote unquote, movements that only have one agenda, and that is to exploit people's guilt and fear.
Investigation as well. I think I read this morning somewhere. So is there a possibility these three women right here who were toasting each other, I think they were all involved in this particular mansion. What sort of peril are they in? Because when you give money to a charity, it's not supposed to buy somebody a mansion.
You're absolutely right. The question is, will this administration, will this left-wing Democratic administration in Washington or this deep blue state in California take any action? I want to look the camera right in the eye and tell everyone.
They already did take action. The finesse. That's their action. That's what they did. Blue gets more votes, right? Deep blue in Washington gets more votes, and deep blue in Cali gets more vote. That's how that works. They got what they wanted.
In this country, name me one thing Black Lives Matter has done to benefit Black Americans in this country. I'm waiting, and they had $90 million, Steve. So I'm looking forward to an investigation. Hopefully, in this administration, it probably won't happen, but I'm looking for something tangible that Black Lives Matter has done for Black Americans with all that money.
Well, they did buy a mansion. Let's see what happens next. Leo, thank you very much for joining us.
They did buy a mansion. That's exactly what they did. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of CoffeeZilla. He's like I guess a scam YouTube, not a scamming YouTuber, but he essentially exposes scammers. This is basically my version of that. I think all things must come to the light. All scammers must be held accountable in every form of fashion. I'm going to do a video breakdown of the case of, what's his name? Al Sharpton, right? One of the greatest charlatan snake oil salesmen of all time. A man who was seen in the public eye as a man you could not trust, a two-bit hustler who had one of the most controversial cases, I believe, like in American history, who has now rebranded himself as the face of quote-unquote black struggle, even though he gets paid multis of millions of dollars that are funneled into his quote-unquote non-for-profit, right? Non-for-profit private jets and non-for-profit mansions and non-for-profit mistresses. But, you know, that's what they do. That's their game. That's how these folks move. And as long as we continue to just allow it to skate by, they will continue to do exactly this. and will continue to disempower the masses. That's my biggest gripe, right? Finessing the money is one thing, but to continuously push this narrative of people are helpless, they cannot do for self, that's now stepping and encroaching on my territory. That's my purpose in this life, to remind people to say that you have the power within yourself to make that change within your own life. You have personal agency over your own life. So you may have been dealt the worst hand, the worst deck of cards. You can always make the best of it, period. And this ain't coming from, nobody who, I'm not speaking from some type of soapbox when I say that. From real life experiences, I've seen how myself and my family came from a third world country and came here, and seeing my pops have to build his way up. We lived in a motel room when we first moved here. Actually, first me and my brother were in Texas with family on an interesting first 3 months in the United States, and then moved to Cali. My folks were still, trying to make things work, and we moved into a motel room until we could afford a little 2-room apartment situation, whatever. And we made do with what we may do, and they worked their asses off, and we continue to do so. And we could have continued to point blame at racism, etc. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you're not a fundamentally black African, so you don't, or American, so you don't understand. You're not from here. You're not an FBA. You're not like." That's actually anybody you tell that who comes from a third world dictatorship, communist country, whatever, you're actually really showing your colors, because it's significantly harder. Because you didn't start here. Even if you were born into poverty in the United States, you're still better off than more than 5 billion people on this planet. As a poor person in America, you're better off than at least 5 billion people on this planet. At least 60+% of this planet, you are better off if you are in poverty. Abject poverty. There's still resources. There's still places you can go. There's still an opportunity that at least exists. You can do something. Even if it's under the table, you can do something. So, that being said, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Till the next time, peace.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2-step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a